And we should be good. Audio's working. You can see us well.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Tuesday, friends. I have not been here in 2 weeks.
Yes, last we heard was because of some testing, but also some kiddos.
Testing, sick kiddos. The kiddos are sick again today.
Oh, no.
I had another panic that I was like, it's Tuesday. My kids must know that they like to get sick on Tuesdays.
Oh no.
But luckily the sitter is okay watching them sick.
Lovely.
Sometimes I feel bad asking a sitter to come over. Hey, watch my sick kids. You're probably gonna get it next.
Oh, my wife's a third grade teacher,
But-
so whenever it hits her
gosh.
classroom,
You just
I'm
know it's coming.
popping vitamins, getting
Yeah.
extra sleep, as much water as I can take in, because heaven forbid it doesn't get passed along through
It's
all
so
of us.
true,
That's
though.
very true.
Speaking of water,
Ugh.
there's been some discussion of water, I guess, in your arena.
So we do. So agent resources, what we used to do a lot of the time, which for any, I guess, who may not know, I'm a part of the agent resources team at Senior Marketing Specialist. So we have this water challenge that we used to do all the time, and it comes in and out. AEP, we kind of toss it to the side because you supplement water for caffeine to stay awake
For sure.
most of the time.
Yep.
But we're re-implementing that water challenge, and basically it's just trying to make sure you are intaking a healthy amount of water.
Yeah.
And the current debate is whether or not water enhancers like Mios or Crystal Lights, if they count as, or if they should count towards your total ounces of water per day. I am team they should still count because they enhance the water you're drinking and it still hydrates you.
Right.
However, that is I am the minority currently.
That's what I would say. I would think it counts.
Okay, I was like, Carrie, we can't go any further
No,
into this cafe
I think
episode.
it counts because, and maybe I'm thinking of this wrong. Wait, as I say this, now maybe I'm, okay, so would, if you just tea, if you drop a tea bag in there.
So that was kind of the caveat was it has to start as normal water and then can't be altered into a completely different beverage. So you couldn't be hot cocoa and water because then it becomes hot cocoa. But if you do tea, that becomes tea. So I don't think tea should count. But Mios doesn't change it to, oh, this is now Mios. No, this is just.
But Crystal Light kind of does.
See, and that's where I think it's borderline.
That's borderline.
So we'll have to.
Well, so I have a good friend who's a registered dietitian, and we've kind of talked about something similar, but with the sparkling water.
Yes.
Like a La Croix, or however everybody says that differently. She said those count.
Okay.
Those count as sparkling water.
Sparkling water counts
as hydrating.
Interesting. We'll have to get our resident dietitian, Josh Long, IT here.
Oh, he's a dietitian?
He is as well. So we'll have to get his.
Curious what he says.
Yeah. Because Sadie was also if we're going to include all of those other enhancers, then sparkling water should count as well.
For sure. I agree.
So I think I could be persuaded towards sparkling water. I don't know though. I didn't think Tuesday was going to be such a heated day for me until I walked in. My team was like, no, your opinions don't matter anymore. Listen to us. And I was like, okay, first and foremost, come on.
Heated debate of water this morning.
It really is. It really is.
Good pre-chat conversation.
Very good. I know we like to take this time here and just kind of go over, take some time before and let everybody kind of join the space here today. Obviously, today's topic was boiling water for other reasons than just to get ready for pasta or whatnot. So, but today we actually have a really interesting topic.
I'm really excited about it. And it is the whole reason why I was gone last week and wasn't here. But now I get to share with you guys about why I was gone.
And I think that's an understandable reason to be gone. If you're going to be gathering something to, in order to share to the rest of us. So we'll forgive you this one time. The other times, we'll have to ask somebody else. But we're actually going to be going over kind of what all this looks like. And I guess I'll kind of lead into that. Why were you gone? For those who may not have joined us last week.
So I was out last week because I have been studying for about the last 6 months for a new designation that is an RSSA. I am now a Registered Social Security Analyst. And kind of to give a little background about why did I get this? What possessed me to do this? Because the fact that how much I studied for this test, I was like,
6 months?
why? Well, I had to take a whole like education course
Okay.
first. But when I was, the whole week before like studying, I was like, I'm too old to be doing this. Why am I taking this 5-hour exam?
5-hour
Yes, it
exam?
was a 5-hour exam.
Oh my goodness.
So anyways, I work with a lot of financial advisors. And most of my financial advisors, they ask me all kinds of Social Security questions.
I'm sure.
And probably 9 out of 10 of my turning 65-year-old clients also ask me, hey, what do you know about Social Security? Can you help me figure out when should I take it?
Right.
And so the fact that the financial advisors think that I should know that, but I really thought that fell back more on the financial advisor.
Yeah.
I just kind of did some research. I was like, can you become like an expert in Social Security?
Okay.
And so then I found the National Association of Social Security Analysts, and there's a whole designation you can get. And so that is why I wanted to get it, to really strengthen my relationships with my financial advisors, create more. And also it will be a service to my clients.
Without a doubt. I think that's an excellent idea, and it's definitely, I will be interested to see maybe over the next 6 months how it was able to benefit you moving forward. We hear so many questions about trying to figure out, this is where I'm at in my life right now. Is it even time? And if it is time, what are my options? What do I need? Or do I have the option to delay, and will I be okay in the future?
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are going to be a plethora of questions that you'll be able to now at least advise a little bit better on.
I think it was the perfect timing, and I'll explain why here in a bit. But so what, and guys, we don't have our text line up because that goes straight to Olivia. So if you do have any questions or anything to ask, just put it in the comments.
That is an excellent point. Or still feel free to text
Olivia.
her.
She's on her way to Denver, and she'll
mess with her a little bit.
Mess with her. Feel free to text that line.
The studio's on fire.
So what an RSSA does in a nutshell is I will be able to, I have a Social Security income expertise now, and I'll be able to help people optimize their social security income and determine when is the optimal time to draw their benefits.
Gotcha.
A little bit of background of why it's so complex if you don't know. So you can start drawing your retirement benefits as early as 62, but you only get 70% of the benefits.
Okay.
Or you can delay until age 70 and you'll get 124% of the benefit. But also you can claim your benefit. You can claim up to 50% of a spouse's benefit. You can claim up to 50% of an ex-spouse benefit. If you have a dependent child, they can claim a benefit. If there's a dependent parent, they can claim a benefit.
I understand why it's so important to have someone like you in your spot. My head's starting to wrap around all of it. Oh my goodness.
There's lots of things that go into making that decision, and people are uneducated about. Like, many people don't know that their dependent child or parent could draw. And so listen to how crazy this is. 90% of people are not optimizing their Social Security. They're not getting the most money. 90% of people.
So everyone, basically.
And so,
that's crazy.
And one of the main reasons for that is most people call Social Security thinking they're going to get advice. But Social Security is not allowed to give you any strategies or give you any advice. They're not allowed to.
Really?
That's like calling the IRS and asking for like tax help.
I guess
hey,
that's fair.
Can you help me with my deductions?
I waited on hold for 3 hours.
They're not going to help you make more money.
That's fair. Okay.
And so Social Security can tell you, the rules, how to file, and they can tell you if you draw at 66, this is your dollar amount. And that's really it.
Wow.
They cannot help you strategize by any means.
A very kind of like coverall statement. So it doesn't help kind of get in the trenches with you and figure out what the specifics are going to look like.
Yeah.
Man.
It's very interesting. That statistic blew my mind that 90% of people just aren't getting the most money.
Now, is that something that you learned from kind of the modules and the
Yes.
education you
Yeah.
did, or
There's all kinds of statistics that just blew me away. So another one, so like 30% of people draw at 62.
Okay.
And for the majority of people, that's the worst thing you can do.
Wow.
Um,
So a
because you're
third of the
getting,
people.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And that's the lowest amount you're getting for life.
Mm-hmm.
And for a large amount of people, their largest asset is Social Security. I think we all have many clients to where their only means of income
Mm-hmm.
is their retirement benefit.
Right.
But one of the main reasons of why I wanted to get this,
Yes.
or not really, I already talked about why I wanted to get it, but why this is so important.
Mm-hmm.
So, a little history lesson,
Please,
for you here.
I'm ready for it. That's what we're all about today.
So, Social Security started in 1935.
So a little bit before I was born. Just
a little bit.
Yeah.
It's turning 88 this year, I think.
Okay.
Back then, when it was created, there were 40 workers paying their Social Security taxes.
Okay.
For every one retiree that was pulling out.
Okay.
So it was
that kind of ratio.
It was a huge amount of funding per what was coming out.
Okay.
Now, what do you think that ratio is?
Oh, it's got to be. I've always worked in extremes. I'm gonna go even say like the amount that's being put in by less than a person is the amount that's being drawn towards like one person now.
So it's 3 to 1.
3 to 1. Okay, so still a positive amount, but not nearly as much as it used to be.
Because of the baby boomers. And so obviously things have changed in 88 years. The fact that something that was put in place 88 years ago is still actually surviving.
Breathing. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy when you think about it. So the last amendments were made in 83, and that was an increase in Social Security taxes.
Okay.
And so nothing has been changed since 1983. But something scary here, and this affects all of us, all of our clients. We know in 2034, Social Security will not be able to pay out 100% of its benefits. Wow. So that means all of our clients, unless things change, aren't going to get all of their income, which is a super scary thought.
So those percentages that they, depending on the age in which they start pulling out, will actually look less and less as compared to now. So they have to work with less, kind of with what they'll have.
Well, so there's been, I mean, if you watch the news lately, which I try to not watch the news or I'll just get hives. But I mean, Social Security and Medicare have been all in the news the last few weeks from Biden's last address. There have been over 150 plus options, ideas that have been presented of how to fix this over the next 10 years. Some of those would be, so right now the full retirement age, it depends on the year you were born, but it's either 66 or 67.
Okay.
Some of the legislation says, well, to fix this, issue, we'll push the full retirement age back to 70. So that means people are going to keep working longer.
Later into their life. Yes,
people are living longer, but working until you're 70? I mean...
I'm trying to get out as soon as possible, and I just started.
Right? So that's one big option. Another, most talked about proposal would be to increase our Social Security tax, which that affects all of us.
Everybody.
So right now, there's a cap on your income that's taxed for Social Security.
Right.
So, if you make $300,000 in income, only $160,000 of that is subject to Social Security tax.
Right.
Anything above that is not. So they're talking about increasing that wage
threshold or whatnot.
Threshold, which obviously just affects higher income earners.
Right.
So all of that is why I think you talk about, what does this look like in 6 months for me? I think of what does this look like in 6 years for me? If I can say that I'm an expert in this topic and will be able to provide expertise in it's not if these changes happen, it's when. Like, we know change is going to occur.
Yeah.
Being able to provide that comfort to all of my clients, to other agents at our office,
right,
to you all, and the financial advisors that I work with. I just think that's really important.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you for going and doing that because my brain is. I once did my taxes by myself,
Oh,
pen
gosh.
and paper. I was like, you know what? I got to know the process before I pay someone else to do it.
Yeah,
I
good
just have.
for you.
I probably,
That's awesome.
and again, the minority here. Yeah, I'm following a trend with my water debates, and now with doing taxes. I was like, I just have to do it once. I sat
Yeah.
down with my aunts who used to actually be the Missouri State Patrol auditor. So she
Okay.
knows numbers better than
Yeah.
English. And so we sat down and took a look at it. So first and foremost, for all of us who don't want to deal with it, thank you. You are just a
Yes.
wealth of knowledge that, I'm sure we will see dug in deeper, further and further as kind of we see this actually kind of apply to your business. So we talked a little bit about what is it. We talked a little bit why is it important both to you that you decided to kind of get this designation, but also why is it important to our industry and our clients. For anyone else that may be interested in kind of seeing what it may take to maybe add this designation or see if it's something that they should consider moving forward, what did that process look like?
So it's just a self-study, there was a whole education. There were 5 different like modules that I had to do. Each module had 5 different topics within it, and I had to take a test for each one. And so all of that, I mean, I did it at night outside of work after the kids were in bed. So that's why it took me 6 months. I mean,
Gotcha.
if I did it like during an 8 to 5 work week, I could probably do it in a few weeks to a month. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't anything I don't think super intense, I wouldn't say.
Okay.
I did have the benefit of having my CFP knowledge.
Yeah.
I think that helped me a little bit because it is really such a perfect link between my CFP and the Medicare world.
Gotcha.
But so it was that, and then I had to take a
I think
2-part exam. So
okay.
half of it is a just traditional multiple choice questions, but the second half of it, which is what I was kind of most nervous about, was an actual, you have 3 different clients.
Oh wow.
Scenarios. You have their information, and I put them into the software system, and I'm basically helping them creating recommendations.
So kind of like a case study, like you
Yeah,
were given
3 different case studies.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just because I haven't been doing this with real clients, I'm not as familiar with the software,
Right.
so that kind of stressed me out.
Gotcha.
But it was great, and it was very, very real world.
Wow.
They were very helpful.
I think that would probably be my biggest deterrent is along the lines like some of those test taking things. It's like just kind of my dad used to always say like just memorize it for the test and then you can forget it,
yes.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that they have like a real world applicant.
Oh yes. Yep.
That way,
That was
not
awesome.
only do you get the experience from the test, but also it kind of draw from that experience.
Right.
So that's really nice to hear that.
One of the weirdest parts, I'll say.
Okay.
So I guess this is common after COVID, but I had to do a proctor like on my laptop. So I wish I could have just gone to a test site, but I guess they don't really do that anymore. And so I had to like register through this like Proctor University, and somebody was watching me with monitoring, like they had access to my computer and also watching me on video. I had to show them, they had to take a picture of all 4 walls of the room. Yep. She made me take off my watch, like made me show her my phone, and I had to put it behind me. So that made me nervous.
That was the first time you've experienced?
Yeah, I've never done that.
So my second half of my college career was all of that.
Oh my gosh.
Every test we took because...
You're making me feel old.
That wasn't the purpose. I apologize. But it's just so interesting to see just the difference in that alone. I mean, that's... For us, we thought it was just because school was kind of on lockdown. All the students had been sent home. We were remote fully. And so it's interesting to hear that is now kind of the standard for even tests moving forward.
I asked. I was like, is there like a testing site
I'll travel
I can go
anywhere,
to?
please. That's crazy. Well, we do have a question. Michelle was asking the software that you were mentioning during the test. What is that software?
So it's something that is administered through the National Association of RSSA. They provide it to me with my designation and with the like annual membership that I have to keep up.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's really cool. It prints out this probably a 20-page report.
Wow.
That has all these kind of heat maps, or what they call it, about, just your typical X and Y graph of, where's that prime spot to draw. And then, so it figures out your maximum strategy. And then, you can pick 3 other, well, here's your maximum. It's if you draw at age 70 and if your wife draws at 63. But what does it look like if you both draw at full retirement age? Let's compare that to that. What does it look like if you both draw at 65?
Interesting. So it kind of gives you those side-by-side comparisons of their different options in a, I guess, tangible piece of paper. Wow.
It's a full report. And so the bulk of the work, is gathering all the data from the client of, they have to go to their Social Security login, download their past earning records.
Gotcha.
I need to know if they have any non-covered pensions, like if they're a teacher, they have any dependents, are they already drawing Social Security? Are they on disability? Are they a widow?
Yeah.
All of those things I put into this software program, and it spits out a really cool report.
Wow.
And it goes over, well, it also has a really cool, I feel like I keep using the word cool.
No.
I'm pumped up about this, if you can't tell.
As you should be.
There's a life expectancy calculator.
Oh, wow.
That is
very
freaky. Thorough.
That's a little freaky for me.
It asks a lot of health questions, because obviously, like, life expectancy plays a big part.
For sure. You have to know how much, what's the timeline.
Yeah,
that
if you're going to die at 63,
right.
Well, you should probably start drawing at 62. But we don't know that.
We would hope.
So this, helps you get the most accurate life expectancy.
Wow.
Something really interesting. It talks about, like, your health background, your family background, and then it has questions about your lifestyle.
Okay.
One of the first questions on lifestyle is, how often do you grill?
How often do you barbecue?
How often do you grill? It's very interesting. I could do a whole podcast episode on the lifestyle questions, because I want to now know, like, okay.
Is there?
I told my husband the other day, he was like,
"Stop grilling."
Yeah, I was like, I'll just cook that inside. But is that better? I don't know.
I wonder what. So now I'm intrigued, because I grill. Am I ruining my chances?
It talks about how charred your meat is, because it's just like known carcinogens.
Wow.
The more charred your meat is.
I thought my immediate thought was like the propane would explode. And I was like,
no,
I'm putting myself. I thought that was what it was. Like, oh well, you're in front of a grill way more often than the average person. Your percentage of exploding is way higher.
So it asks very in-depth questions.
Wow.
So you can have as most accurate as you can life expectancy to put in the system.
Interesting. And I know you mentioned a little bit about your membership cost and what that looks like if you're able to kind of dive into that.
Michelle, I think back 6 months ago, I think the cost of the the education was $1,700, I think. And then the exam was about $500, and then the annual membership fee is also $500.
Wow.
And then you have continuing education.
Wow.
Yep, to keep up with. So
the continuing education, I know that's a topic that we talk a lot about here in the Medicare space in order to maintain your health and life license or whatnot. Are you aware, I guess, yet of any crossover that kind of you can quote unquote double dip? I haven't yet.
There might be some with my CFP, because I have to get 40 hours for my CFP. So yeah, hopefully there's crossover between this and my insurance and CFP. Mm-hmm. But another cool thing about what I'll be able to do with this is something I'm going to start doing is offering continuing education on Medicare and Social Security for financial advisors.
Interesting.
So that was another reason why I wanted this designation, to give me more content to talk about along with Medicare.
So I guess I really only have one kind of more question that I think we've definitely tackled a little bit. My biggest thing was, obviously, why would someone who's in our industry maybe want to take that dive? And how do you plan to use this newfound knowledge and apply it to the Medicare space? Is kind of where I'm coming from. Obviously, you're able to offer so much more insight to your clients,
Hmm.
offer so much more of a tablecloth of knowledge to your referral partners. But I guess what steps do you plan on taking with this? Is it more so to provide more value to your current referral partners to hopefully grow your network? Have you thought maybe like which of those are you gonna take a stab towards?
1 second. I got distracted
You're
by
okay.
Phyllis's question. Does standard insurance E&O cover the advisory service for Social Security? That's a good question.
Hmm,
That I don't know. It I was thinking it would fall under more of my CFP. But yeah, thank you for giving me something to check on because I should figure out which one it falls under. Yes, thank you,
that is
Phyllis. That's a great
interesting.
question. Um, so repeat your question. What
I'll simplify it.
simplify it. There you go.
What are your next steps, I guess? How do
Oh,
you plan
okay.
on using this kind of within to immediately tie to your kind of Medicare space
Yeah, so
and your Medicare goals?
um there's a couple ways I'm going to go about it. So there's the continuing education as far as the seminars I host. I will add a component of Social Security, but then really next steps for me is figuring out um, what the individual analysis is going to look like.
Gotcha.
Because on the main RSSAs, on their main website, they have different plan and costs associated with
Yeah.
that. And I want to figure out if I want to stick to that. Do I do something different
Gotcha.
since, they're kind of a dual role? So really my next steps are figuring out what it would look like to, I guess, charge for these services on an individual level.
Gotcha.
Because I mean, obviously, I, I could think of 10 clients right now who are waiting for me to officially go live with this.
And announce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just have to figure out how I can start that. And
Yeah. The
it's
business
questions like
model
that.
behind it. Yeah.
I've got to talk to Chaylin about compliance stuff. And like the E&O question. That's great.
She outlines here what designation did you just describe? So we've been talking about
Yes,
Carrie's
sorry.
RSSA, but more specifically, she may be talking about
Yep.
your
So my
financial side.
CFP, I am a certified financial planner. Pre doing Medicare, I used to work for a trust company doing your traditional like financial planning, wealth management, investment management, retirement planning, things like that. And so I have my CFP designation still that I have, and that encompasses more planning services. And honestly, I think the RSSA falls under that umbrella
Gotcha.
than the E&O for insurance.
Gotcha. Interesting.
So
That's fun stuff. So I have to break the ice. I've learned so much more than I thought I was going to.
I
I
could talk a lot about Social Security. If you guys want an education on Social Security, I could go
maybe
very in depth.
I'll have to. I think it's no stranger or well known that I sit right outside of Olivia's office and throw pebbles at her window all the time. So maybe I'll just write SSA on some of them and
There
throw
you
them and
go.
see if she'll
Yeah.
pick up on it. Let's see here. Michelle's outlining that this new designation sounds like it would be really helpful or useful. Definitely an expense to
Thank
budget
you.
for.
Yes.
So that's and passing some congratulations on as well. And
Oh,
then
the CFP, man. That was awesome that you get referrals from them. That's been my whole business model, Phyllis, is so I now work with 40 different CFPs. They bring me in as their Medicare piece. So love that you do that, Phyllis. There's such a need there.
that is really exciting.
Yeah. It was definitely a hard exam. Sometimes I kick myself of like, I lost about 10 years of my life studying for that exam. I'm not even technically using it anymore. But I'm so grateful for it. And
But it got you to where you
exactly,
are. So
exactly.
that's awesome.
Yes.
Absolutely. I
Absolutely.
think it's best well said as Michelle, it's an expense you have to budget for, both time and
Yes.
financial. So
Yeah.
I like I said it earlier, I have to admit when I was searching what is RSSA, trying to figure out, I was like, what am I going to talk to Carrie about all this? She's going to make me.
Sorry, I've talked your ear off.
No, there's so much to learn. And what I found was something that helps protect like children and elderly people when it comes to Social Security. And I was like, no doubt Carrie would for sure protect children and elderly people, but I doubt that's what we're supposed to be talking about. So I've learned so much. I have to extend some appreciation and thank you for spending the time and diving into that topic.
Yeah. And if you guys have any additional questions about it, about the designation, or specifically about Social Security, reach out to me, reach out to Olivia, comment on here.
I guess I'll go ahead and flash her text line that just as a reminder, if you need to send something her way, this is Olivia's text line. We don't have access to it currently, but it'll
get relayed to
she'll
me.
Have it, yeah, and she'll be able to pass anything on to Carrie. So, Michelle, thank you so much for commenting. These are excellent questions here today. But I think that's going to really wrap us up here today. I guess.
Yeah, I can't think of anything else I had to add.
Any other fun tidbits or whatnot about Social Security?
Just it's coming. Change is coming.
Change is coming.
Change is coming, and it could drastically affect all of our clients. There's another date I didn't talk about. 2028. That's the expected year that the Part A trust fund is going to start having shortfalls. So that directly affects all of our Medicare clients.
Interesting. We'll have to keep our eyes on that, nose to the grindstone and ears to the floor. We'll find out everything.
Right.
That's really, really interesting. Well, I guess we have to figure out how to do the sign off because Olivia is usually the one who starts it. Would you prefer to start it?
All right, we'll try this. No, how did she even start it? I'm so used to saying my part. You started.
You want me to start it? Okay. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, if you have any additional questions, feel free to throw them at Olivia in the text line. But until next week, have fun.
Make money.
And give impeccable service. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. We did do